On Saturday, 20th August 2020, a contingent of the Federal Government of Nigeria, comprising of the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, and the Honorable Minister for Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, accompanied by the Managing Director, Nigerian Railway Corporation, Mr. Fidet Ohiria, conducted an inspection of the progress of the Lagos-Ibadan Railway project. They were accompanied by a large contingent of the media made up of television, print, radio, and social segments. The inspection also included the railway line between Ebute Meta Junction and the Apapa Port. The media were given free and unrestricted access to the $1.9 billion Lagos-Ibadan Rail project, which included stops at Agbado, Papalanto, Abeokuta, Omiadio, and the Ibadan railway stations, which are all in various stages of completion. The dual carriageway tracks from Lagos to Ibadan is fully completed and is an element of the National Railway Development, which consists of some of the largest and longest railway projects in Africa. This project includes the Coastal Rail dual carriageway line from Lagos to Calabar and the 276-kilometer Warri-Itakpe-Ajaokuta dual carriageway railway line. The completed and commercially operating Abuja to Rigasa railway line has been in operation since 2018, with the Warri to Itakpe commercial line opening shortly. Here, the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture shares his insights on the project.
So we started this tour about 8:30 in the morning. That's about 7-8 hours ago. And it has taken us from Ebute Meta to Apapa, from Apapa back to Ebute Meta, and then to Agege, to Agbado, to Papalanto, to Abeokuta, to Ibadan. And I believe that these last 7 hours must have convinced everybody, especially those on the team, the media, about the wisdom of the federal government to actually borrow money to invest in infrastructure. We have seen the level of progress we've made in the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge, and we've been assured by both the minister and the contractors that in a few months' time, this project will be commissioned. Now, this project, which is the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge, is going to completely change the economic landscape of Nigeria, the social landscape of Nigeria, in the sense that we are now going to have a train that can do 120 kilometers an hour, and will be able to cover Lagos to Ibadan in under 90 minutes. But more importantly is the fact that we are also linking this rail to Apapa, which is the heartbeat of the nation's economy, especially for the purpose of haulage. And I've been assured by the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shipping Council that actually the unique thing about Ibadan rail station is that as soon as this project is completed, all containers meant or destined for places outside Lagos will be evacuated by train to Ibadan, and from there they will not go to different parts of the country. This single act is going to decongest Lagos completely, decongest the port completely, and create an enable environment for the economy. So I'm glad that we're all here and we've all witnessed what the federal government is doing with the money they borrowed. You remember just a few weeks ago, what was trending was whether we are borrowing wisely or not. And we thought that the best answer to this controversy is to bring about 40 media people representing, the print, the broadcast, the social media, to see for themselves firsthand precisely what is being done with the money being borrowed. When you borrow money and you invest in infrastructure, then you are laying the foundation for economic growth. You also lay the foundation for posterity. And this is just the first in this administration of the series of trips, media visits that we plan to showcase the infrastructural, projects. We're going to move to power, we're going to move to roads, we're going to move to bridges to let Nigerians know that we're not borrowing for services. Neither are we borrowing for salary. We are borrowing to lay a solid foundation for the economy of the country.
The Honorable Minister of Transportation shares his views and projections on the National Railway project.
There are basically about 3 major projects that are either completed or nearing completion. We have completed the Kaduna-Abuja rail line, which has been put to use. We have also completed the 350 kilometers of rail from Itabe to Warri, and we have also awarded another contract from Abuja to Itabe, passing through Baru. This one is nearing completion. We would have completed it if not for COVID. This is about 156 kilometers from Ebute Metta to Ibadan, with another 8 kilometers from Ebute Metta to the seaport in Apapa. We're envisaging to commence, when funds are available, the construction of Tinkan Island river port or seaport to hook up or join the Apapa seaport. And then we hopefully next year will commence construction on the 8,500 kilometers of rehabilitation of rail from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri, and then the Kano to Katsina, Maradi rail line. These are the projects we envisage to commence. Hopefully, if COVID is not under attack, we should complete them before we leave office. You can't discuss timeline as it pertains to any rail line now until we are sure of what's happening with COVID. Because the timeline for this was to be completed in May. Unfortunately, COVID came by March. And here we are today trying to see. What we're trying to do now is to revive work to ensure that they are back to site, and they promise that they go back to site. They made some speculative promises in the sense that we have tried to push them to complete before December. So they've promised that by 1st of January we should be able to commission the Lagos-Ibadan. That entails completing the 12 stations, the communication and signaling, and the rail track. The rail track is almost completed. What is remaining in the rail track is just the 8 kilometers to the seaport, which we believe that before December they should be able to complete. I'm saying we were already going far before the train. Even if you don't enter the station, let's say that you lay the track, you're close to the seaport. Then we'll have Papa Station. The Papa Station, in fact. I'm here at the 15th too.
No, we have answered you. I have answered you at the seaport.
You've answered me like a politician.
No one, we can assure you, we will answer you 100%. No one, we cannot assure you, we can answer, we will try our best.
Which one is 100%?
To reach seaport side.
Yeah?
To reach seaport.
Which one? That's 100%.
That's why, if all the parties works well, no one involved.
Well, it's not our work now. What else?
Exactly.
I've told you. Now we've done everything you want us to do.
Yes.
The ball is in your court. So when?
As you wish, in December or January.
The Managing Director, Nigerian Railway Corporation, Mr. Fidet Ohidia, tells us what the entire National Railway project is in detail.
We're on a train from Lagos to Ibadan. This is the median train ride on this DMU, and we have the Minister for Transportation and the Minister for Information on board. This DMU came in during the COVID. It was cleared and moved to Papalanto. and it was tested, tried before today. But this is the first time it's carrying a lot of people on the trip. We have 10 train stations on this route from Apapa to Monia in Ibadan. And this present government has done a lot on the train modernization. They came in and completed the Abuja-Kaduna, and we have 9 stations there, 5 stopping stations and 4 crossing stations, making 9. And when we started in 2016, we started with 2 trips, then we later moved on to 8 trips. And we are talking about moving to 14 trips a day, and we have been able to send 10 DMUs, 10 coaches, and 2 locomotives new during this COVID period, and we are expecting from next week moving a set of DMU made up of 8 coaches, and 2 motor cars. At the same time, we have moved 10 coaches to Itakpe-Warri. We have 12 stations on the Itakpe-Warri line. It's about 312 kilometer length of track, and it's over 35 years old. And the government came and took it up, finished the track, build modern stationing, and the stations are finished. Working on the signaling. We all hope to start the commercial operation by the end of September, God's willing. And we are going to have 4 trips on that route. On Lagos Ibadan, we have 24 coaches and 4 locomotives to be deployed and a set of DMU. We are going to start with 16 trips a day from Lagos to Ibadan. And we hope to start in September. And we are hoping that by the end of December, all the stations will be fully completed. But what we did today, at least to encourage the contractor to come back to site, observing the necessary protocol to make sure that their staffs are safe by wearing face masks, keeping the minimum social distance and physical distance, and ensuring that they give them face masks and the shade to protect them from the virus. So this is happening today. At least we bring this contractor back to site so that they can concentrate at the station and ensure they take the train track from where they stop at Ebute-Metta to the port. Because without the port, without us moving freight, the essence of the track will be defeated, not just for passengers alone. We hope in December they will be through with this and they will deploy themselves to the Ibadan Kano houses. And the Ibadan Kano houses are going to be segmented. We're going to have the Kano Kaduna, we're going to have Ibadan Ilorin, then Ilorin, Mina, Abuja, so that they will be working simultaneously and meet the target date of completion. The 2050 from Kaduna to Abuja is from 187 kilometers single track that was completed and put to use. And you have the Itakpe-Warri, 312 kilometers, not including the loops, completed. And Ibadan Lagos, from Ebute-Metta to a place called Monia in Ibadan, about 156 kilometers. And from Ebute-Metta junction to the port, have 8 kilometers. But we are going to have about 16 kilometers within the port, the freight yard within the port. So if you add 156 plus 8 plus 16, 24 plus that's about 190 kilometers. And from Ebute-Metta to Apapa is a double line. So 156 times 2 is about 312 kilometers track that have been done. So we hope with things like this, enough, apart from the direct labor that will be employed by Nigerian Railway Corporation, between Itakpe and Abuja Kaduna, we have employed close to 4,000 people in our employment in Nigerian Railway Corporation. And we are hoping to engage another 1,830 people to operate on a modern track, Ibadan Lagos. We are trying to secure the necessary approval to enable engage people. But apart from that, the fallout from the indirect labor, because you see, as we are passing, when we started this track construction, these buildings were not here. People were engaged to do this construction. You see new buildings springing up both on the left and the right. And you see, for instance, in Rigasa, when we started, people were saying, don't go to Rigasa, it's dangerous. But as of today, it has opened up and people are bringing up a lot of small businesses. Not to talk of Edu. If you go to Edu today, it has now turned to, it was planned for industrial but never took up till the rail started operating. You see a lot of warehouses coming up, factories springing up, because they now know that they are finished goods and the raw material can easily get to them. So I think that is the right way to go. And if they put this consistency in place, because as I always say, we can't finish it just in a day, but you have to have that deliberate policy to drive it, to make sure that the state capital productive centers are reached, and at the same time, the source of raw materials and the marketplaces. And because when you have a mix of moving products to the buyers, the producers will be encouraged to produce. And they know that the raw material will get them at a cheaper rate. What we have now is that by the time you go by road, the cost, not even the product itself, the cost of moving them is high. And when you move in bulk, talk about 30 wagons of products in bulk, and when they arrive at a particular place, the product will be available. And it's different when you move them bit by bit. The scarcity will be there. So we hope that as the government is serious about it, those of us working with them, we try to do our best and ensure we put our ultimate best so that we can meet the goals and their dreams.
The Honorable Minister of Information and Culture speaks directly to the media at the Ibadan station.
Of this project, following the trip we've made together, and I say I'm sure you will share my own position too, because all the year together since 6:30 in the morning, and from Ibadan we went to the old locomotive to Papa to see the status of development there. From there we came back to Timeta. Of course, we came together, we stopped in Agege, we stopped in Kajola, we stopped in Babalanto, we stopped in Abeokuta. And I think there's no better way to answer Nigerians as to what we have done with the money we borrowed all over the world from this trip. You have seen that this trip, you've seen firsthand yourselves. The stations, rolling stock, the people at work, and the fact that this is a project that will outlast virtually all of us here. So we decided to embark. When the Honorable Minister invited me to this trip, I was very glad. And I said, as I go to argue with naysayers, let you are the ears and the eyes of Nigerians. Please come and see yourself what we are doing with the money we have borrowed. We didn't borrow money for services. We don't borrow money for overhead expenditure. We borrowed money for capital projects, for roads, bridges, power, general infrastructure. And this is the first, this administration of the series of inspections we are going to take along with you, so that you can better enlighten Nigerians that there's nothing bad in borrowing, provided that borrowing is invested in infrastructure. There's nothing bad in borrowing, especially when that borrowing is going to create jobs. But it's going to create an enable environment for the economy.